Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk here on September 30th, 2024. It is homecoming week at UT Martin, one of the most exciting times on campus, and also a very exciting week in Skyhawk Sports. Davis Gregory here with me, Chris Brinkley. Chris, continue to say it, but it's the truth. We have yet another full week of athletics as Rifle is going to get going.
Yeah.
Equestrian, we're going to talk to Coach Leiter-Janes later on in the show. This is going to be a great week.
Yeah, and so much going on, extracurricular activity for homecoming with the quad, lip syncs going on, stepping, all kinds of fun stuff, and then all the sports.
And we'll get to that here in our first segment this week in Skyhawk Athletics. Starting out with golf, got the Bubba Barnett Intercollegiate at Ridgepoint Country Club in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's going on as the day we're recording this here on Monday, and it will go through Tuesday as well. Volleyball will be at Southern Indiana at 6 p.m. on ESPN+. That will be Tuesday. Rodeo will be at Arkansas Monticello in Monticello, Arkansas, Thursday through Saturday. Then soccer will be at Little Rock at 6 p.m. on ESPN+ on Thursday. We'll also have a home match against Morehead State, the defending OVC tournament champions. That will be Sunday at 2 p.m. And Equestrian, they start their season at South Dakota State on Friday. They're hosting two events there, as UT Martin will be one of the teams competing there against the Jackrabbits, and then they will also take on Fresno State. That will be on Saturday. South Dakota State will be Friday. Rifle will begin their year at Murray State at 9 a.m. on Sunday. That will be the season opener, of course. Men's basketball has the Navy and Orange scrimmage on Saturday at 10 a.m., and then the UT Martin football team wraps up the homecoming festivities at Hardy Graham Stadium, taking on the Gardner-Webb Runnin' Bulldogs last year. These were the two teams that split the Big South the OVC Championship. Kickoff at 2 p.m. on Saturday on ESPN+ and the Skyhawk Sports Network. Homecoming week, Here we are. We are finally here. I know Coach Simpson is excited about this. We're going to have Jesse Chamberlain on with us, also Dr. Laura Brown over there. I know all the students, all faculty and staff, everyone is pumped up for this week.
Yeah, and I remind everybody with the schedule, time's almost up as long as that schedule
Exactly.
is. No, go to utmsports.com, and there's a great composite schedule that you can look at, or you can look at the schedule for each sports, but make sure you keep up with what's going on with all of the sports and what time, and support the Skyhawks.
And we will take a break, and when we come back, our first guest of the show, Dr. Laura Brown, the faculty athletic representative for UT Martin Athletics, will be joining us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here alongside Chris Brinkley. And joining us now, of course, this year trying to get more of our faculty and staff incorporated in this show, Chris. We have joining us the UT Martin Athletics faculty athletic representative, Dr. Laura Brown, joining us from Health and Human Performance. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you guys?
We are happy that you are here.
I'm happy to be
making your debut. Now, okay, so Ashley Bynum had the bar right there. What are you going to do? Are we going to crush it? Are we setting new highs right now?
Oh, we're crushing her.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. We need to create some type of competition with all the people that we're going to have on from faculty and staff and be able to have something like that.
That's no pressure, is it?
No pressure at all. I got this. I got this.
You know what, though? You've been a part of our network on ESPN Plus with helping with volleyball and some other sports, too. So you're really comfortable behind a microphone.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah. She is.
Sarcasm, yes.
I picked up on it late there. But a professor in the Department of Health and Human Performance. What year is this for you here?
21.
21.
As a professor, and I had 2 years in aquatics and fitness many years ago.
Yeah.
And you went here to UT Martin. What was your student experience like?
It was awesome. I played volleyball. I didn't play till my senior year because they had a lot of injuries, so they desperately needed somebody that could breathe. So that was me. But
who was your coach?
Millie McDonald.
Yeah.
Shout out to Millie. Loved her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that we were, forgive me, we
Gulf
were Gulf South Conference,
yes,
and we were the Pacers.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I was a lady pacer.
And what position did you play?
Outside hitter and middle hitter. So.
Yeah. And your favorite memory from that season?
I think the camaraderie. Yeah.
That's always a great part, team chemistry, building up those friendships and everything. So your role here, faculty athletic representative, what does that entail, and what are your roles here with the athletic department?
I feel like I learn a little bit more every day about different roles, but because it's just multifaceted. But the main thing I do is make sure I'm like the liaison between athletics and academics.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So day-to-day life, what is that? I know you have classes to teach and everything like that, but working with the athletic department, what are some of those things, and some things that you go in, I guess, throughout years too, and communicating things between the athletic department and the faculty and staff?
Yep. It started out where I just was signing rosters and helping with team or coach tests for compliance, and the NCAA has done away with that now. So now it's more, I'm in charge of the athletics board. So we have annual meetings, we have subcommittee meetings. I'm on OVC committees. We go to OVC meetings. So there's lots of meetings.
Yeah.
They're via Zoom a lot of times for the OVC, so that's helpful. We don't have to go to Nashville all the time. And then recently, I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I've been doing extra, just collecting data. And we did a publication last year about sleep study for student athletes.
Oh.
And right now we're working on mental health and wellness.
Yeah.
And just seeing, like, we're doing a pre-post test. We've actually done it and doing the data right now. But I'm just interested. I just want to help people. That's my thing. So what's the best way to help them be successful?
What did you learn from the sleep study?
That was what I was
Okay.
going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had female basketball. All the people are gone. So, but we found that there were like 3 students that did not sleep at all when they traveled in hotels.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we're like, okay, well, what do we need to do? Like maybe get a sleep machine or the white noise, or how can we help them?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found that very interesting.
And Coach McMillan would always say, I would say, what's the advantage of being at home? And he says, sleeping in our own bed.
Yes.
No, and you're like, ha 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 ha. But no, some people don't sleep well in hotels.
Right.
I don't have a problem. Do you?
I have a problem if, like, when I'm traveling with my family and, like, my family's in the same room, then I have trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about you?
Yeah, like if I'm, depending on where they put you, like you find out you're next to the dumpster at 4 o'clock in the morning.
True.
You know.
Yeah. No, or
You
that
don't
would be an
notice
issue.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the elevator,
Yeah.
the ice machine, all those
Yeah.
different things. Yeah.
Well, see, one of the things I've always, and I ask coaches this all the time, because when our teams travel, do you have the same roommate all the time? Because I would want the same roommate, because then you learn each other's schedules.
Right.
And a lot of times coaches like to switch it up, so you'll develop friendships with other people on the team. So what I don't know what to think about that now, because maybe you do need a person that you like the TV on or don't like the TV. I mean,
Right.
there are all
Yeah.
these things that happen. So your thoughts?
Well, we did not research that part, but I do think that's very interesting because it is nice to get to know everyone. However, if you and your roommate partner go to sleep at the same time with the TV off and nobody snores, that's the perfect roommate, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I do
yeah.
know when we travel, some roommates are better than others, but I'm not going to name any. I'm not going to
You're
name
drawing
any.
straws on
I
that.
will, actually.
Seeing some guilty faces over
I'm
there.
not. So how does the sleep affect their performance in the sport?
Yeah, so definitely if you're not well rested, it affects your grades, it affects everything, but you're not going to be at your, physical best the next day to be successful on the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fascinating.
And I know everyone says 8 hours, and then I've seen some new stuff that said 7. Is that still true? Do we kind of bend a little bit with 6, or what are we
9 for me.
Yeah, and it depends on gender, and it depends on
Well, so who needs more sleep?
the females.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah,
to
that's
interrupt.
no, that's good.
Yeah.
Depends on, of course, the gender. It depends on like what they did that day, and of
Right.
course, nutrition, everything. If you got a good meal, you'll sleep better. If you feel fine mentally, you'll sleep better. But if you're worrying about something, you're not going to sleep as well. So there's so many things that go into it.
Yeah.
And what I've loved is since we've had Bart Ballou on, we've had Ashley Bynum on, and looking at everyone's bios on the website, I mean, we have a great staff who writes all those, Alex and Ryan Rickman. But from Brampton, Ontario,
Yes.
that's where you so Canadian,
Yes.
and you have found your way to Mount Juliet, Tennessee then.
Yes,
and then
go
now
Bears.
you're in
Yeah.
Martin. Tell us that story as a whole, going from Canada to Martin, Tennessee.
Okay,
How does
so
that happen?
I am American now, just for the
Okay.
record. Yes, but I was born in Brampton, Ontario. And then when I was 5, we moved to North Carolina. We lived there for a few years. We moved back to Ontario. Then after a few years, we moved to Montreal, Quebec. Game changer.
Yeah.
You definitely need to be a good French speaker to be successful, I would think.
Are you?
Oui. Très bien.
Hey, there we go.
There's my one up right there.
Yes,
I'm not even
exactly.
a French professor.
And there we go.
There you
Dr.
go,
Brown
Ashley.
is already
I
on.
got you. Yeah, multilingual. I ended up living in Atlanta, Raleigh again, San Jose, California. My dad traveled for his work a lot. So, yeah, went to Mount Juliet, loved it there, the longest I ever lived in one place until I came to Martin. My dad, we drove here for, like, the tour, and I was like, Dad, where are we? Because back then,
in a good way or a bad way?
It was a horrible way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was that was the 4-way stop there.
Right.
And McDonald's was somebody's front yard.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So, yes.
No, the house is still there.
The house is still there.
That was that person's front yard?
Yes,
it was.
The gas station wasn't there. Like,
That's
it's
right.
just changed so much.
Oh, my goodness.
But I was like, and my dad's like, give it 1 year. If you don't like it, we'll go someplace else.
Yeah.
And I'm still here.
And you're
you're still
yeah, and that was 1987.
And I love that rule though, because my mom had the same rule with me, because I'll be honest, I was homesick being from Knoxville.
I'm
and
sure.
I was like, Mom, I can't do it. Like, it was almost every other week. I was like, Mom, I'm coming home. And 1 year, just 1 year. Because you get to that fall semester and you're still trying to transition to everything. But then the spring, you really get settled down. You're like, okay, I can probably handle it.
Yeah.
And then you get to another semester. Oh, I want to come home 1 more year. Just get it to the end of the year. And then by that time, you're like, I love this place. And you
Yeah,
graduate.
I love this place. I do too. Yeah.
So you've been at UT Martin since 1995.
Yes.
Had started as the coordinator, you talked about it, aquatic and fitness, and
Yes.
then now promoted to a full-time professor in 2015. What's that journey been like for that?
I enjoy that type of journey because I'm like I said, a little nerdy. So I do like the research aspect. I love collecting data just to find out what it's going to show us. I like to do the presentations, write the journal articles. So all of it's just been great. Mm-hmm.
And graduated from UT Martin with a bachelor's degree. Got your master's from Murray State.
I
We
know.
won't hold
I
that
got
against
my
you.
master's from Murray. We have a lot in common.
Yes,
I
we
never
do.
lived in Canada, though.
We need to just go visit. Yeah.
That's right.
But then got your education specialist and education doctoral degrees from Union.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm always so impressed with it, hearing the stories from Dr. Richard Robinson at WTM about how his story of getting his doctorate and having to go back and forth and continue. And it's hard work.
It is hard
and
work.
I have great admiration for anybody who goes out there and gets their doctorate. Talk about some of the ups and downs of trying to go get your doctorate and your dissertation, everything like that. What was that like for you?
Well, the dissertation compared to my thesis for my master's, so much better.
Really?
My thesis committee argued over a comma placement. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
My doctorate
That's terrible.
committee, they were just a dream. So that was, But by the time I started my doctorate, my husband had passed away, so I was a single parent. So shout out to Britton Wright Knott. She babysat my children for me when I had night classes. She'd pick them up from daycare and do everything she needed to do, and I didn't even get home till 10 o'clock at night. So Tuesday and Thursday for almost 3 years, I would have class, and she would do that for me. And if it weren't for her, I don't know that I would have been able to do that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
she was so helpful for that journey.
My mom, when she got her master's from Chattanooga, I think I was maybe 3 years old, and then my brother was in high school, but my mom had just recently been divorced whenever I was 2, and so my grandparents were taking care of me at the house while she's trying to get her master's from Chattanooga and going to all these classes. But it's the people that do some of those little things for you, and even big things like babysitting that can mean so much down the road for you.
Mm-hmm.
That is so awesome. So your kids, how many do you have,
I
and
have
what are
2.
they doing?
They're wonderful.
Yeah, they are wonderful. My son goes to the University of Alabama getting his doctorate. He was at the game the other night and said it was just amazing.
Yeah.
He's getting his doctorate in sport pedagogy, and he says he wants my job. So beware, guys. Yeah.
What is pedagogy?
I was about to ask
the
that.
art of teaching someone to be a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, which is very
Yeah.
important.
It is.
It's very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, she's in Milwaukee. She is a MAP librarian, MAP. I didn't know the profession existed until she went up there to the University of Milwaukee.
Like topographical and that kind of map, or is it?
It's like 5 of these size Zaxby's, room full of map and globes.
Really?
Drawers full of maps, like every map you could think of.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does she do? Is it just
somebody from Europe might email her and say they're writing a book, and do you have a map from 1625 about this region?
Wow.
And
That
she
is
can
so
pull
cool.
it, and then they'll put it in the book.
How interesting.
I'm-
I want to hang out at your house at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
awesome.
Great. So now every single time anyone looks into their books and sees a map, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dr.
Yeah.
Brown's daughter probably helped out with that.
And her name is Georgia Brown. So
Yeah.
yes, Sweet Georgia Brown.
Georgia
Yeah.
Brown.
I love that. that. That's so great. Oh my
So
gosh.
what have you seen since you were a student and played to where you are now as a professor and in helping and as a teacher and as a doctor? How have students changed and how have teachers had to change in interacting with students?
A lot. Like when I was in school, cell phone didn't exist, internet did not exist. So everything, I remember driving to SIU to go photocopy some articles for my papers, and now it's just right there. So they have all the access at their fingertips, which is
good
great.
or bad? It's great.
I think it's good.
Okay.
But you have to, as a professor, want to embrace that good. Like if I were 20 years further, then I probably wouldn't appreciate that,
Yeah.
So, there's sky's the limit for them, and I think that's wonderful.
Okay. No, that's encouraging.
Absolutely. Favorite part about your job? Last question for you.
The students.
The students.
Yes. Yeah, the students keep you young. My students are constantly teaching me cool lingo that I didn't know, So I won't tell you what those words are.
I was about to say.
I'm trying to think of one.
Are these podcasts appropriate for?
I have a student in mind, and he'll always go, "You feel me?" And I'm like, "No, I don't feel you,"
Yeah.
But I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But he's like, "You get it?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, just say you get it,"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
learned one the other day, and I guess it's all good. Somebody said, "Don't be a popsicle stick." Have you
Oh,
ever heard that one?
No.
A
Like,
pops-
what does that mean? And it means, well, after the popsicle's over, it's just a stick, so you'd be a disappointment.
Oh,
Because
I've never heard that.
heard that one either. But so usually when you get to the popsicle stick, usually you're like, well, gosh, it's over, and so don't be a downer.
Don't be a downer.
Don't be a downer.
But you have enough popsicle sticks, then you can make crafts. So then you can be creative.
That's right.
Turn a bad
Find
thing.
that twist.
Bad
Yep.
thing into
Yeah.
a good thing.
I love
Find the
it.
silver line.
Yeah.
This has been great, Dr. Brown. Thank you so
I've
much for
enjoyed it.
joining us.
Yep.
And we know you have an exam, I think, at 1.
I do have a class
to give
at 1,
out.
yes.
Sorry to the students that we can't keep her here longer, but no, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We will take a break, and when we come back, we will have Jesse Chamberlain from UT Martin Rifle joining us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory here alongside Chris Brinkley. Joining us now, our student athletes here for this episode. Jesse Chamberlain from UT Martin Rifle. Ran for Homecoming King last year. We've got
That's
Homecoming
right.
Week coming up here this week. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm here.
You're here. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Thanks
You're
for
here.
having me. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. So I'm always interested as to what time the rifle team has gotten up every morning. Did you have to get up early this morning?
Yes, sir, I did.
What time?
So we try to get to the range at 5:30, so everybody can set up, and then we try to start.
5:30 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we try to start by 6. So we do every morning. So.
What time? So what time do you wake up? every
Well,
morning?
so funny thing, I actually live right across the street, so
Oh, okay.
I can be over there in about 5 minutes from waking up. So.
Okay, so I mean, do you just like wake up and go? What's the morning routine?
Yeah,
do you get
so-
time for breakfast or anything?
I try to grab a snack quick. Coach keeps a couple snacks at the range, and so I'm up probably 5 minutes before I need to be there. Just pop my contacts.
I
and
bet
roll.
everyone is like Jesse just can just wake
Yeah,
up.
and
You
just be
know,
there.
he can
No, your
sleep
sport's
in.
about precision and accuracy. So does the
Right.
time of day matter for you? Are you more accurate at a certain time of day?
Honestly, at first I didn't know. I kind of thought the mornings would be weird, but I feel like
You're
since you just
clear-headed.
woke up. Yeah, I mean you have nothing that day that's amped you up yet. Maybe you had a nightmare. I don't know, but you've had nothing so far that's really given you a reason to be amped up. So I feel like you're well rested. You literally just
Yeah.
woke up. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I woke up at 4:30 last week. I had to go to my brother's wedding. Well, I got to go to my brother's wedding. Let me rephrase that real quick.
Yeah,
I
it was a
got a new
privilege.
sister-in-law that I got to keep happy and everything like that. But no, so I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I am still hurting from that Thursday
Oh,
morning, waking up
rough.
at 4:30 in the morning and then driving to Knoxville and then being in the car for another couple of hours. But so how long did it take you to adjust to that? Because I'm not used to waking up that early. But I mean, you've been here for 4 years. This is basically your routine now.
Right. So, I mean, in the summers and years prior, I'd always worked a blue-collar job, so I was always up earlier anyways. So it wasn't that big of an adjustment, and I hunt a lot, so I'm always up early. But, I mean, I pretty much rolled right into it freshman
What
year.
were your summer jobs?
I was about
So I worked for a contractor that did pretty much everything. So I've done everything under the sun when it comes to remodels. Worked for excavation company, before. So I've done a little bit of everything.
We've talked to other rifle members in your sport. You even have to pay attention to your pulse, your heartbeat.
Yep, yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, and that just blows me away that that's part of what you do.
Yeah, and back to waking up too. So that's another thing. So I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to one of my buddies about it. So most teams, like say some teams, you have weights early in the morning. I feel like that would be easier because you're getting up. You can fire yourself up, and then you set the standard for the day because you're trying to get your heart rate up. You're trying to get fired up. But we wake up early and we try to be as still as possible and as calm as possible. So I feel like that makes it a little bit harder.
You don't. The higher your adrenaline, the less steady you probably would be.
Oh yeah. I mean, even during a match, like if you're like amped for a match, like you can't be.
How do you control that?
It's all in your head. You can talk to yourself. You just have to tell yourself that all of our matches are the same. It's the same amount of shots every time. So you just have to tell yourself that no matter what, this is the same as it would be as it was at practice. Like nothing's different.
Yeah.
You're just keeping your score.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
From Bedford, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
What did you like to hunt? I mean, what do you like to hunt? Because still a hunter, but what's your game of choice?
So I grew up hunting deer and turkey a lot. So turkey's my favorite, probably by a long shot. But since I moved down here, I've acquired waterfowl.
Oh.
As you know, it's a really big thing around
Real
here.
Foot Lake, or where you go?
No, a little bit further south, but not far from Real Foot,
Okay.
actually. But, close to Mississippi River.
Okay.
But, so I've acquired that. So that's probably taken over deer hunting. So it's turkey and ducks now, and geese.
So why is turkey hunting your favorite then?
I just like the springtime. Everything's coming to life. The sounds you hear, you don't always hear any other time.
It's not freezing cold when you wake up.
It's not
in
freezing
the morning.
cold. I do like the cold though, believe it or not, being from the north. But I just like the interaction you get with turkeys.
I know the similarities between competing in rifle and hunting. What are the differences?
So your adrenaline when you're hunting is probably a lot more through the roof than it is at a match. Most of the time with hunting, I mean it's one shot. You got one shot to make it count, and so that's how it kind of transfers. You kind of have to look at when you're competing is one shot at a time. So maybe try to translate to that, like you're just trying to make that one shot count, even though you have probably 50 couple more.
What about patience?
I mean, if you're not patient and you're not willing to, put your rifle down and get out of position, then it's probably not the sport for you. You can't have a temper. You can't. If you throw a temper, you're just digging your hole. You're just digging yourself a hole. Yeah.
And that's hard to get out of too.
Oh, it's extremely hard.
100%. So your fourth year here on the rifle team, what have you learned here throughout these past 4 years about yourself, and how have you grown here at UT Martin?
In general, you mean? Even with school and everything?
Everything.
I'd say don't be afraid to talk to anybody. Just literally be yourself. There's people for everybody. If you tell me you come to school or you're an athlete, whether you're an athlete or not, and maybe it's not for you or you just weren't having fun, I feel like you're just hanging around the wrong people. So even with Martin, what's our enrollment? 7,000?
7,500.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean that's a lot more than what people realize. I mean that's especially in a small town. So yeah, there's people for everybody, and Martin is no better than any other. So
I love it. I love it.
And I like that attitude, because I always feel like when I talk with someone, particularly someone I don't know, they've got something they'll offer me, and I hope I have something to offer to them. But you got to believe that before you jump into a conversation.
Yep, be open-minded too.
Yeah.
I mean, I came here and I knew Coach and a couple team members, and that was it. I mean, I was 11 hours away. Like when my parents left and I was in the dorms, because we come early for sports, and not everybody's at campus, but it hit me pretty hard. I was like, wow. This is tough, but I've had a great time. Yeah, honestly.
So senior now, went to Bedford High School.
That's right.
You got a couple teammates from Bedford High School.
That's right. I started a little trend on the team.
What's your relationship with some of those people?
So it's Liam and Joey, and we graduated from the same school. So Joey's a year younger than me, and then Liam's a freshman. I've shot with them my whole life. So I started when I was 11, and I think Joey was like a year behind me in our junior club coming up through. So
how big was your high school?
So I graduated with 140.
Okay.
So not giant. I think we were AAA.
Yeah. So you kind of know everybody in high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Or their families. Yeah.
Yep. So it's kind of similar to Martin, maybe a little more spread out, but
Season starts on Sunday at Murray State,
right.
9 a.m. against the Racers.
That's right. We get to sleep in a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. There you go. You get a little bit of benefit there. But talk about some of your expectations, some of your goals that you've got set for you and your team for this year.
I'll speak on the team for this one. I can definitely say we've got more depth now than I feel like we've ever had. Our 3 new freshmen are very, very talented and at the same level as everybody else. So if not above us. So I feel like we're definitely coming up on a good season, and I'm really excited to see what kind of scores we put down.
What's your role with the younger student athletes?
I try to be a good role model. I really do. So just have them over the house. I always tell them, if I can't answer a question for you, I can point you to somebody that can. So I try to be there as much as I possibly can for them.
After graduation, what are you going to do?
So that's still up in the air. I like the South. I really do. I'm leaning more towards probably living down here at some point, if it's temporary or if it's for long term. So we'll see.
Favorite memory as a student on the team?
Oh,
or just in general. I mean, we could do team and then also as a student too.
I honestly have so many. Oh man, that's a tough one. Well, I don't know. I will say I do like when we. This is just more than one memory, but I like when we travel. I like so Nick Ferris. You had him on here last year, so he graduated. Nick was my roommate in our apartment, so when we'd travel, it was super fun because Nick and we already lived together. So I'd say all the memories we've had on the road and going out to eat and everything and enjoying the stay for a weekend when we go places more than just the actual competition itself. I'd say those have been my favorite memories for sure.
Coach Val's been here, I feel like, for a long time here at UT Mart. What are your favorite memories of Coach?
Coach getting fired up on the ride back. So, here's a good one. So last year we were on our way back. I think it was Moorhead, and this car kept we took the van last year, and this car was right on us. And she's like, I don't know why this guy's doesn't just pass us, because we were just cruising. I think we were under the speed limit actually because we got all the equipment, and this car passed us, and the whole rear bumper was hanging on by one bolt, and she was dragging this thing. It was a woman. She was dragging this thing the whole way up the road, and sparks were flying. So, and Coach, we laughed the entire way home about that. So that's one of my favorites too.
Just the bumper flying.
The road to Moorhead.
Spark. No, that really is the road to Moorhead.
No, it really is.
It is. You will see some interesting things.
Right.
Yep, I love going through Kentucky. That's my drive on the way home too. So
going back to Pennsylvania, you drive. So you go through Virginia. How do you?
Oh yeah. So I go whatever that Western Kentucky Parkway is, the whole way up to Lexington, and then I just go pretty much northeast towards Charleston, West Virginia.
Oh no, it's beautiful
Kentucky.
though, isn't it?
It's great country, but the Moorhead exit that we take to literally get to the hotels, I pass it every time. That's my halfway point when I get home. So it's roughly 5 hours.
What's the drive distance? What's the
11?
hour mark?
It's 11 hours roughly.
Do you split it up into a couple of days?
No,
you go all one day?
Yeah,
how many stops you take?
My record's 2. The past 2 times I made it 2 stops. Yeah.
No way.
If I fill up my truck here completely full and just really, really get as much as I possibly can in there, and I get snacks and drinks here, I can make it in 2 stops.
That's impressive.
You have got you must have the best bladder of all time.
You just gotta have to forget about it. But I got a strategy with that too. So
I need to hear this because I'm making 3 stops whenever I'm going.
This is a first.
From Martin to Knoxville, I'm making 3 stops sometimes minimum.
Really?
Yeah.
and
that's only 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah. Well, the first couple times I did it, it was quite a few stops. But I've got.
What's your strategy?
Yeah. So I was actually telling Dr. Brown about this the other day. Shout out to her. She's awesome, by the way. So for a week leading up to I have a set date. I got home obviously after finals for Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving break, and then after finals for Christmas. But I'll come back down for a week and then drive the whole way back up. But so I have a couple buddies back home that I really talk to religiously on the daily, and I just won't talk to them for a week or two. And then when I go to leave, I'll call and be like, oh, Father, here's what
Yeah.
I got to catch up with you on,
Yeah.
And that phone calls will get you a long ways with a road trip.
That's true. It makes time pass
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
I get through my contacts list, and I'm just clicking
Just-
on.
Well, maybe I need
shuffling
you
up.
on the contact list when I make
Yeah,
a
I
list.
know, that's
I'll
what I
make it
need
easy
to.
for
I
you.
need to call Jesse, and then I'll make it home right in record time.
Yep, I'll make it easy for you.
2 stops on 11 hours. Jesse, this was great, man. Thank you so much
I
for joining us,
appreciate
and good luck
I
here in
really
this
do.
season. We will take a break, and we'll come back here in just a second on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Now joining us, head coach of the UT Morton Equestrian team, Kim Janes here, beginning now her 5th season as head coach. Coach, how are you doing?
Good. We're excited. We've had a busy week, and we're doing fantastic.
This is number one question when I knew we were having you on. How is our boy Frappe doing?
Well, he's doing excellent, and this is his farewell tour this year. So we're kind of promoting him. We're going to retire him at conference championships in March. So we're hoping people will come out and help us celebrate his career here at UT.
We have to.
How
So
old is he?
20.
Oh, my goodness, really?
They're going to ask me 3, somewhere up there. Yeah.
So
he's
I
up
know
there.
like dog years are 7, cats
Oh,
are
yeah.
7. What are horse years?
Well, 30 is about max, but most of them about 19, 20 are when they're starting to finish the end of their riding careers. But they can go,
Yeah.
we've got several that are retired out there that are 28 years old. Shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Gracie. She lives here in Martin. She's 28 years old, just had a birthday. So, yeah, they
No,
can
I've
keep
got
going.
a horse behind my house that I think's 35. Or,
Yeah, that's really old.
Yeah.
That's like 100.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, completely. Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
So dog years is 7.
Yeah.
How many is
we
horse
don't
years?
have an official number.
Maybe
Okay.
2, 2.5
Yeah.
probably.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe 3.
I should know the answer to that, but
Yeah,
I don't know that there's a real number for that,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But we got to see Frappe.
Horses aren't
You
animals.
do.
This,
Yeah,
uh,
Frappe's going to have a farewell tour,
Well, I
so
knew-
we're going to bring him out at the event.
He was at the Skyhawk Palooza.
He was.
And I missed him.
Yeah, he was.
I
at
was.
Palooza.
We had soccer that day.
Yeah.
And I missed.
Well, what will
Frappe. I
he
was
do
so
in
upset.
retirement?
He's going to go home actually and live with one of our.
Oh, good.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
our coach Caitlin's going to retire him with her, and they're
Okay.
just going to live out his enjoy his life. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is
Enjoy
so
time in
awesome.
a pasture, do some trail rides.
Yeah.
That's what most of them do in their retirement. Yep. Mm-hmm.
We've
Get
had
spoiled.
record rain in the last few
Oh
days.
my gosh!
Has it
yeah,
affected you?
Oh, very much so. Well,
Yeah.
just because we had a scrimmage, had blue and orange scrimmage on Saturday, and we couldn't use the outdoor because, of course, it was underwater. So that just doubles our time when we have to be all inside, and then just getting everything in the arena to practice as opposed to having the 2 big outdoors that we have normally to use. So
Yeah.
just keeps our day going from sun up to sundown to get ready.
And
Yeah.
talk about that scrimmage. I know that's really like one of the first main events on the schedule. How was that going, and how did you see your team perform?
It went really well. My squad's tied. They were because everybody rode, so there's a few extra points, but it went 11-11, and then the orange team won in raw score. But it was close, and it was really fun. The girls made healthy competition one of their priorities, and they brought it. And we had some great scores.
What's that mean,
and
healthy
some,
competition?
Oh, not fighting against each other, but pushing each other to
Yeah,
be better. And
yeah.
oh my gosh, what a difference. They just really tackled it and showed it like it was an event, and a lot of freshmen, and it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like we
So you're doing your best, but you're extremely supportive for everyone else
Absolutely.
to raise their level and then everybody's level. Yeah, very cool.
If you make a mistake, let's help you. The person shown against you be better than you, because then we're all better, right? Instead of trying to hide those things. And
That's
yeah.
what we do, Davis, as
We do,
broadcasters.
exactly.
You made a
I-
mistake, I'll fix it.
Exactly.
Make it better.
Whenever Chris misspeaks on a broadcast, I'll write a sticky note down and point it back at him.
Exactly, yeah,
Put it
healthy
back down,
competition,
and then
yeah.
he'll throw like a paper airplane at my head, and I'll look at it during the broadcast.
Healthy
Absolutely.
competition.
Healthy
Exactly.
competition, yeah.
Love it.
So then we can go out on the road and be a little more fierce.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
I love it. Is it ranked number 8 in the preseason polls? Talk about that, what that means for this program. Again, consistently one of the best teams in the country, and continuing to move up here in these rankings.
Absolutely. That was huge for us this year. Our goal this year is Ocala, and we have to be in the top 8. And just to be seen that way in the preseason poll with the freshman class we've got coming in with a group of returners. We have a strong group of returners on the western side. We have a younger group a little bit on the jumping seat side, but it's really exciting to have other people seeing
Yeah.
them where they see themselves. And so getting that has really been a driving force to where we are starting, as opposed to feeling like we have that underdog mentality a little bit because we are different.
Yeah.
But
Let me just stop you there. How do other teams perceive us? What do you think? What do you hear? What do you hear from them?
we're different, right? They don't get the scholarships. So it's just a little bit I hate to say the word lesson, but they're kind of seen that way. They don't take us quite as seriously, I think, and sometimes that's in our favor, right?
Yeah.
But for sure, it's really driving the team this year positively because they were like, okay, look, people are starting to see us, and they see the force that we are, and we're just been knocking at the door. That's what Nelson says. We're right there knocking on the door, but now they're seeing that door could open for them.
And I'll compliment you and the team and the program. You have to be a little more resourceful.
Yeah, a lot more.
Your attitude has to be a little bit different, maybe, but you pull it off, and it's obvious now to get that rank.
Yeah, we celebrate that we're different. Like, we think that's one of the cool things about us, that we work hard and do with what we've got, and what we have is what we need, and just that mentality. And we have amazing supporters, and we get a lot of support that way. And, parents, groups, and outside resources are huge for us. But boy, that just makes us proud, right?
And I would almost say,
and pushes us on.
If you do well here in your sport, after you graduate, you're probably going to be okay in life.
My girls know how to get a little gritty. They know how to, you know what I mean? They're learning the skills. My girls are our marketing committee. They're out there fundraising for us. Like, they're managing the barn. So you see it in the classroom, but you see it on beyond, and what they're doing is that they just know how to manage things and handle themselves and handle conflict and all those things that make them, that's the big piece of it, right? Who they are going to be next if this is helping grow them to be that. And then we can win some along the way. Oh my gosh, we're like, we are killing it. We're tickled. Yeah.
12 freshmen join this team. What type of impact can they make on this season?
Well, I just want to brag on our freshmen for a minute. Their mindset is so cool. They are sometimes the first ones to talk and share, and they're excited, and they're bringing the energy. They're not quiet. They're not a quiet group, and that's a cool thing, because that energy is where we drive and build, especially on our events. But oh my gosh, they're bringing a lot. Every class has a lot of talent, and that drives everybody else. Again, that healthy competition. There's somebody right behind you. It's not, you know what I mean? So everybody is working hard for those positions, and it's just
But the personality of every class is just different.
But this one has a ton of energy. They're loud. They're fun. They're team and goal oriented, and they're driving us as that squad. That class is driving my whole squad.
Wow. Did you, by design, did you recruit it that way?
Well, yes, but but it's a bunch of them instead of just one or two. And so just because of, I think, our program and now its reputation, I think that's where we're getting. I think it's finally just, it's evolving, and what we've been trying to grow. Our team culture has been one of our number one priorities, and I think that people know that, and people have chose us over somewhere they may go get money because of our team culture and because of our program. So I think it's just catching up to us, and it's good.
And Chris and I were talking about before, there's something that happened in the basketball world with a trade, and I told him, chemistry, I feel like I value more than anything when it comes to building a team together, because if you get a bunch of really talented people together and they don't like each other, you're not going to win anything.
No, and our girls come from an individual sport. A lot of them haven't had the access to a team, so we spend so much time on that. Team bonding, team building, who we are, leadership skills, all of those things, because we're not used to coming together and riding. Again, healthy competition, we're riding for ourselves versus riding for a team. And sometimes what we want for us isn't what's best for the team, and learning all those things. And my upperclassmen are doing a great job of modeling that, but then my underclassmen have bought in from the get-go, which that's what gets everybody on the same page.
Your sport's a little different in that. What is the role of the players' families and parents in your sport?
So for us, typically they're the ones taking the kid down the road and hauling them and putting doing the stuff in the barn and helping so much that it's harder for them to kind of back away. But so what they do is for Equestrian, they feed us, and they organize all of that side for us when we travel. They make sure we have snacks and stuff like that, and then they just built us an amazing team room. We kind of decorated it, and just doing all the extra things that to help support us. They're very involved. We have a strong parent group.
But there's a lot of ways to be involved.
Yes, just not in the barn, where they're used to being, right? They want to help tack the horses and do that kind of stuff, but the girls do that. So so that's a shift for sure.
29 returners. That's a lot of talent coming back for this team. Also with Lexi Bailey, who was a first-team All-American. Sophia Sundom, All-Conference last year. And then Mia McAfoose, who was Freshman of the Year last year. Conference Freshman of the Year in fences was Kate Mills. Mia McAfoose making All-Conference last year. And how have the returners come back, and how have they improved?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we've got a strong group. Like I said, the Western, we've got a lot of returners that are going to make the lineup next week when we play South Dakota and Fresno. 8 of our 10 10 spots are returners. So that's a big deal for us. That's the maturity and learning through the mistakes. And so we're really excited about that. And on the jump seat side, we've got some strong leaders in there. And then we've got some newcomers will be to the lineup. So that's where we're really excited to see where they'll shine. So scrimmage was really important for that. But yes, lots of strength, lots of really good riders. Yeah.
Love it. Begin the year at South Dakota State,
Yep.
and then face the Jackrabbits Friday, and then Fresno State on Saturday.
Other way around. We're going to play.
flip-flop
We're playing Fresno first. We'll play half of Fresno on Friday, finish Fresno on Saturday morning, and then play South Dakota on Saturday.
Play South Dakota
yeah,
State.
Fresno's playing South Dakota first.
A long travel day, I
Yep.
know, but this is, so excited. Every single year that you start up has
Yep.
that excitement for that first game, meet, whatever it is. Talk about your feelings here as you get ready to start this season.
It is exciting. It's fun. The hardest part for us is when we go that far, we take a flight, right? We fly, and then we don't get to take the whole team. And so losing the energy of our whole team is a little rough. And making those, when we have the whole team there, it was such a cool dynamic. So that part's a little bit hard, but we're so excited. Oh my gosh, they're ready. They're ready to showcase what they've been working on and take both the Fresno and South Dakota are unranked at this moment. So we got to step up to what people think we can do. So that's some big shoes right now. We're ready to step in and go show where we're at.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, expectations for this season and some of your goals for your group.
Our goal is to get to Ocala, and that means in the top 8. That would include winning our conference championships. That's at home. We get to host that this year, which is huge. It's a lot of work, but it gives us a little bit of an advantage. We need to capitalize on all those things. But our goal this year is one step at a time. Each meet we've set our goals for the meet. Each squad has their goals for what they're going to do, and we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. Little bite-sized goals, and the first one is to handle South Dakota and Fresno on the road. So that's our goal right now.
Awesome. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck here this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we will step aside with a break. When we come back, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And back here, a final segment here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. And as always, we wrap it up with head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson. The Skyhawks beating Kennesaw State 24-13 on the road for their second FBS win in program history. Great win for UT Martin on Saturday. Coach, just your thoughts.
Yeah, very, very proud of the staff, okay? Obviously proud of the players. We had good energy. Very physical game. I challenged the team before the game from the standpoint of, you're coming off 3 conference championships, and that's great, okay? But I think sometimes, right, you say, okay, well, let's do more. Let's be cuter. Let's be, let's do things a different way, and not necessarily a bad way, okay? All right, but that's just not how this game is played, okay? You got to stop the run, okay? And then you got to tackle well, and you got to block people, and you got to break tackles. Those things won't change the history of the program. And, said, hey, we've got to play, Martin-made football, our brand of football. You got to be physical. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't throw a screen and score, okay? But you got to be, physical at the point of attack, and then you're still going to have to break a tackle, So, that was things we talked about, and I thought the kids did a good job of that. And that game was kind of set up for it. It really was. They were going to run the ball, okay? And our defense did an outstanding job. I think there was only 2 plays I felt like we didn't tackle well, and one got out. But, no explosive plays. They got us on the fake punt. They got us there. But besides that, able to – I won't say control the line of scrimmage because, there's 7 in that box and 7 and 8 guys in the box and with a lot of movement and pressures and stuff. But the power was able to get out for the long 48-yard run. The pick 6 was unfortunate. Kincaid kind of got just fooled on that by the corner and did a nice job. But, to grind one out, to get a lead and not kind of look at each other and say, okay, is this SEMO again? We were up by 14 and now, once again, we had a couple mistakes, and if their quarterback would have found them, okay, they could have got us, okay? And those are things that we got to do better, that you play better teams, better quarterbacks, throwing quarterbacks that can can get you. But regardless, I was real proud of the team. It was good to get on the road and get a win. It was good against an FBS opponent and get a win. And so now we get to come home for homecoming.
And you talked about covering better, and then also offensively, third down. You go 8 for 16 on third down. That's a great conversion rate. And then defensively, Tevin Shipp has a career high in tackles. He has 12. And then this is your third straight game holding an opponent under 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And you got 2 interceptions and only allowed 149 yards through the air.
Well, there's no coincidence. You score on defense, and in our 2 wins, right, we scored on defense, so that's outstanding. We did have the turnover, so that was unfortunate. But, our penalties were down. We got the turnovers. We scored on defense. Shipp, made a lot of tackles, played well. Great interception by O'Shea. That was outstanding. Chris Hunter had a nice interception. Hastings made a lot of plays. Smiley played good at the nose tackle. When I can say those four kids' name, Josh Hastings, Shipp, Smiley, O'Shea, okay, and Sharp's pretty consistent for us. When you're able to say those guys' names that they played well, we probably played well on defense.
Mm-hmm. One of the concerns going into that game, obviously, was the weather with everything that's happened in that area.
Yeah.
Did it affect the field, the game?
It was wet. The field was wet, but then it started, raining in the second half, okay? So very difficult to catch the football. They had some drops, because of it. We kind of didn't really throw it anymore after that. I think in the second half, maybe 7 times in the second half, okay? And then Kincaid actually completed 6 of the 7, so kind of moved the field. But, one person I didn't call out, though, as far as that I thought was kind of maybe the most valuable player was Chuck Hammer. Thought that was outstanding. He stepped in, did a nice job. We get the win on the road.
He did a nice job.
And another thing that that you calls me too, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to handle this yet. Okay. I'm always talking to the players. About football is kind of before they get into the real world, right, in their adult life. You learn a lot of lessons, right, when it comes through overcoming adversity and the work habits and things. So one of the analogies I've always said for 20 years now is, every one of us have to, your mom and dad get up and go to work every day, right? I said, I can't just miss a day, right? My boss, right, well, he's going to fire me. Somebody else will be sitting in that.
Kidney stone game. You were there.
You got to go, man. You get up and go to work.
Yeah. Michael Jordan played with the flu.
Exactly. Well,
I called a game with
the team's concerned. The team's very concerned about you. All right, that you're not. When you do get to adulthood, that you're not learning these habits and stuff. Oh, and another thing too, I do feel bad for you about this though too.
Okay.
Myself, Chris, Alex, were you here in 2012? Okay, you were here.
Yeah.
Ryan, was Rhino here?
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, Trudy, Jerry Carpenter, guys that work here that have been with this program. Okay, during our tenure, right, we've seen, UT Martin football beat 2 FBS opponents.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
85 scholarships to 63. Normally money's exchanged, right? This one, I complained about that last week. We didn't. All right. So I've been a part of the 2, and you guys have as well.
Yep.
So you missed this one. And you weren't even born when the other one was happening in 2012.
There it is,
Memphis.
Dude, I was waiting for it.
That was great.
It was a good setup. It was stretched out, and then it was just
You're turning 12 when?
It will be October 23rd. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, yes, the wedding
and
was
both
nice.
of those wins were in extreme rain.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You're like some horses are good in the mud. We're mudders. That's what we are. We're mudders.
And you had a lot of teams, though, that dealt with some tough situations. I know Gardner-Webb didn't have any power at their stadium.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine playing a game with no power.
You know what? And I mean, there's no scoreboard. There's apparently no headsets.
No noise.
Yeah, and so and in fact, Tennessee Tech, they got after them. I mean, they ran for 340 yards against Gardner-Webb. Now I'm gonna tell you, I know we're not talking about Gardner-Webb yet, but. You look at that game and you're like, okay, you got them here at home. But then you go back and look at the Charlotte game, and then you look at the James Madison game. What was the score? 13-6.
They only gave up a small amount of points to James Madison, who put a lot up against North Carolina.
70 against North Carolina and 60 again the next week. So no, it's very concerning. They're good on defense. They really are.
And Patrick Smith in this game for you all, though, against Kennesaw State. You talk about when the rain happens and when those things occur that, a team has to face a lot of adversity. You find out a lot about your team. You go to the ground game. 123 yards, 24 carries, 2 touchdowns, and the offensive line providing some good holes for him.
No, they did a nice job, and a lot of blitzes, okay, loaded box, and but I think all of us have a lot of confidence now in Cheeks, and he has a lot of confidence in himself, and he can make guys miss in the hole. He's got pretty good vision. He's a pretty durable guy as far as being able to take the contact and get up and he carried over 20-plus times, probably in at least 3 games, right? 3 of the last 4 games probably, something like that. And so then he had the big run on the power. He found the backside A gap as the backer scraped over the top, and been very consistent. We're very pleased with him.
And how big was this for this team, though? I know that Missouri State was a tough loss, and then you come in to this game on the road in the rain, having to fight through all of that, and then some injuries taking place during the game. But mentally, how big was that for this team to go and take a win from Kennesaw State and get that?
There was 2 things. One, SEMO's won 2 games since we got out of there. They had an open week, right? So, they're a good quality team. One of them was Southern Illinois, Missouri Valley team, right? And then you see Missouri State got another win on the road. I don't know if it was on the road, but versus a conference opponent as well. All right. So, but regardless, we're not used to losing, a couple games in a row. And so when you're going on the road and it's an FBS opponent, right? No, it was a very determined group of very you could just see a different vibe about O'Shea. We didn't really feel like that we were playing not to lose. We were playing more to win.
Yeah. And you showed that at the end.
No, very much so. Very much so. The staff was coaching to win, not coaching not just to mess it up. And I tell the players all the time, I know that I preach, beat the game, right? Don't beat yourself first, okay, before you can beat your opponent. And I don't know, sometimes maybe that carries over into, we're not as detailed because we're out there and we figure, okay, if we're out there, they'll eventually mess it up. No, you still have to do your job before they mess it up.
Yeah.
But no, very much pleased with our determination and grit that we showed.
Yeah, player of the game, Chuck, I guess. I'm fired this Saturday.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I texted you and Miss Simpson.
You
Your
did.
text back
you did.
was
It was a little mean, a little GIF or whatever it's called about me. He took that picture of my office, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
From.
No, I got it from Miss Simpson.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, no.
Well, she was asking me where you got it from. She gave it to you.
Yeah, well, I got it she posted on social media, and I got it how did you like your chain, your sunglasses, and your hat? You like that?
Well, no, I deserved it, but I appreciate it. Well, but I do appreciate Chuck Hammer's selflessness, okay, and, hope he's on standby this week.
Yeah, listen. And what did I tell you? In the first half, if it's not going well, I'll tag Chuck in.
Well, sometimes we have to replace players that just don't get it done.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like this too. Sometimes there's a guy that comes from scout team or whatever that you didn't really realize they had that kind of ability. And they just they get it done on Saturday. So that was kind of what I felt like of Chuck.
He was just called into action. He's ready to go. He's ready to play. He was ready to make a play, and he did. But no, seriously though, shout out to Chuck. Really appreciate his work. This week though, one of your favorite weeks, homecoming week.
Let me make my normal speech.
Yes.
We used to have a coach, and I would say, "What about homecoming week?" And the old coach would say, "I hate it. It's a distraction." But you have embraced it from the moment you were here.
I've told you this for years, right? This is my favorite week of the season at UT Martin. You're at home. There's stuff all week long. Celebrations, traditions get carried over from lip sync to, obviously culminating on Friday with the step show. With rope pull and then the pyramid, that night. And it's been cool to get some texts from other people, alumni and former players that are coming back this weekend. Hey, matter of fact, on Saturday, of course, he doesn't know who they are, but he does because he is Skyhawk through and through, knows the history of it. Mm-hmm. But on the sideline, I looked up, and Dexter Anoka and Donald Chapman are on the sideline.
Really?
How about that?
Wow. How's that? mean, we saw Donald at the Hall of Fame. Don Chapman.
Well,
how's Dexter?
it's during the middle of the game. I think I just called a play, and all of a sudden Chapman's down there, and he gives me a hug. So I didn't get a chance to visit, and they didn't get a chance to come to the locker room after the game. But, that was the Donald Chapman game.
Yeah.
That was a guy that's not fast enough, but he would rush for 200 yards. That was a Donald Chapman game in the rain, and I thought it was very, very fitting for the scenario. But getting back to homecoming, no, that's great. We the pageantry of college football, we don't. We don't always get exactly what we get this week on a weekly basis. So I want our players to enjoy it, feel a part of something. Hope down the road, 10 years from now, they bring their families back for homecoming because they're proud, of the traditions here.
But it's a football game, but it's also a celebration of our student athletes, our students, and our university.
Well, it's some of the best feelings I get are calls of our alumni that are on the beach, and whether it's Orange Beach, or wherever, Gulf Shores or somewhere in Florida, and they'll have a Skyhawk hat on, and somebody will walk by and say Skyhawks, or whether they're graduate from there or they recognize it now. On the bus on the way back, I tell y'all that's my favorite time. Right, time stands still for those 6 hours or whatever it was back from Atlanta. And you're watching the other games and other people go through the stress up and down of wins or losses, and then the ticker comes on, and you see UT Martin in yellow over the white. And what great advertising for our university and our
I was having lunch in Union City yesterday, and 3 people came up to me and said that was a big win for our program yesterday. I'm like, absolutely.
And then
they reflect on the Memphis game, and then they talk about this season.
Yeah.
But it really, I guess the ripple effect, we can't even imagine who's watching, who's paying attention, who's supporting, and who's following.
Great way to say it. I just need to get them back to the games on a consistent basis. Yeah. But at least talking about us, caring about us, and that's get that going first.
And I was making UT Martin fans at the wedding.
Good. Don't start.
I had the phone on because I was watching. Now listen, this is my
best
dedication.
Man, you had a phone in one hand and the ring for your brother.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. It's still the first quarter here. No, but I'm sitting there, and I probably shouldn't say this because Mom is going to watch this, but Mom and my brother go up and have their first dance, and I have my phone over there, and I'm watching the game. So don't question. But I am a dedicated man right now.
I wouldn't expect anything less. Okay,
there we go.
I appreciate that,
but everyone was looking at me, and they were like, "Who are you?" Because Georgia and Alabama's on the same time. I'm like, I'm watching UT Martin, Kennesaw State, but people were excited that we had won the game. They were pumped up.
Oh, that's cool. Now they're probably whispering they can't believe you're not there, but but to your face, they were cheering with you. But I can't believe, Alex, I didn't give Chuck a shout out after the game.
That I was honestly, I was expecting to get a voice memo pop in on my phone.
I was too excited, but there's probably some type of human resource thing that I would have gotten in trouble for or something. So I didn't want to
just remember this. It's a learning moment.
I will.
It's a teachable moment.
Yes, right. I will remember this moment as I cannot. No more. No. Well, he's not getting married again, so that's what we hope.
I'm sure y'all got you sure there's no week anniversary party you got to get to or something like that this week?
Well, for Saturday, for those that are superstitious, we probably would hope that there's something there.
I missed my son's game on Friday because it's the only way I could get there. Miss Graham's and Ty's playing against Georgia.
Do you watch that game? And people are calling it the greatest football game of all time.
I saw the second half.
Okay.
I saw on the bus. I saw the second. It really was a great game. It's back and forth. One of the probably one of the better games I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Miro, played outstanding, and it really was. It was a good college football game.
We get into the traditions, though. Well, before homecoming traditions and everything, at Gardner-Webb, you mentioned 1-4, but the 3 losses that they have outside of Tennessee Tech were 1-possession games against really talented football teams. This is a good Gardner-Webb program coming in, and they're going to be looking to get right mentally after that loss to Tennessee Tech at home.
Yeah, that really surprised me. Like I said, they beat Presbyterian, and they should. Lost by 1 to Wofford, very close to James Madison. One touchdown game there, one point game scored late by Charlotte the next week, and then this week I'm sure they're not very pleased with their with the performance. So we got to prepare for the good version of them, and that's a program that beat us last year at the head to head, and we had to share the conference championship with them. Homecoming, I mean, and you can't get on a roll, right, until you can't get to 3 wins in a row until you get to 2 wins in a row.
Right.
So, so many things, but I think we're a confident team. Got a few guys banged up. Hopefully we get back. Rucker, I saw on the injury report. Another thing, too, I was very proud of. Tank didn't play in the game, okay? Narkel didn't play in the game. Tuna came out, the first series at the left tackle, so Big Hampton went in for him. So there were some missing pieces, and so some other guys just kept stepping up and making some plays.
And homecoming week. Now we get to the tradition part, the fun part. I know that Emma is in AOPI. What is she?
Lip sync.
She's in lip sync.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock.
I'm a judge.
Oh, he's a judge. Oh, Coach, you got listen. Here you go.
I can count on Chris. You, not so much. But Chris he'll be good. He'll do what's right for the program.
I think this is better than the age stuff. I will say that. I'd rather. Davis isn't there.
You would probably get him on some technicality or something. You'd be like they practice too many times or something. NCAA them or something.
Yeah, get to the institutions.
You'd have
the
to disqualify them. Or
so
something.
You will be there. Tuesday.
I'm gonna try to make it there.
Okay.
Tuesday nights after practice, we have to watch the practice tape. But they practice probably more than we do. Seriously, NCAA may need to put some guidelines on them. But that's great, man. They're into that. They're their sorority and their university, and but that's one thing too. Whether it's my players, right? Yeah, you play UTM football, but you're going to graduate from the University of Tennessee at Martin. Be a part of as many stuff as you can. You're in AOPI. That's your sorority. That's awesome. But your diploma is going to say University of Tennessee at Martin. So be a part of it here. Y'all know this, right? When you get in adulthood and you have your own families and stuff, you'll be lucky to make it to those weekend games.
Yeah.
Your kids are going to have games. You're just spread out, and Monday through Friday is busy. So enjoy it while you can. Be a part of it. Have those different experiences. I don't think anybody looks back, right, and says, I hate that I went to that football game when I was in school, right? Or I hate that I went to the basketball game. So, tell your classmates to get to the games.
There it was. I will say this, Mom.
You're kind of like Doogie Howser. Remember that show?
Yeah, I do remember
that show.
He was 12 and he was a doctor.
Seriously, you're probably about 11 when you enrolled here at UT Martin. But but what a great, just prodigy you are, man.
Davis Gregory, MD.
Dr. Gregory. Dr. Gregory, thank you very much. I will.
You and old Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, there you go. I enjoyed that show.
I did too.
So,
I wouldn't have wanted him to be my doctor, but he's a pretty good broadcaster.
Well, maybe like a hangnail or something like that.
You grow toenails. I'm like, I'll take care of it for you. Yeah, Mom did say though, after I guess emotional day for her, and she looked at me before I left and was like, yeah, you can't get married within like 5-10 years. And I was like, well, Coach said 20, so, I think you've got some time according to his projections.
You've not been through that yet, thankfully.
No, I know it. You're right. We rag on Ty all the time. We're like, Ty actually is scheduled to graduate in December.
Wow.
Okay, now he's got 2 years left to play, but graduating in 3 years, fired up for him. But, no, I'm not ready to go for that. Emma's in and out. She lives, doesn't she's at our house a lot, but she doesn't actually live there a lot. Doesn't live there anymore. So it's just Julie and I and Graham. And I
bet Graham loves that.
Him and his sister are pretty close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He probably could take or leave Ty because Ty gets on his case pretty good. But matter of fact, we have a group text, right? A family text, like most people do. And so Ty watches Graham's games on Friday. Okay, in between his meetings and getting ready for his game, right? And so what a great deal we got now here at Westview to have those games and stuff, and that's awesome, and my parents get to watch it. And if Graham wears tights, Ty will say, you look like a clown in those tights.
Wait, did Ty wear tights?
He texted the other day because it was a rain game and they were running the ball so much on Friday, and Ty was texting his mom because obviously I wasn't there. Tell Graham to pull the ball. He's being soft. Pull the ball and run it. And so, no, I'm like, Ty, he's thrown 25 touchdown passes, and and they're 5-0 or 6-0. So.
But Graham did give Ty a tough time about choosing
Oh yeah, now I forget about that sometimes. The old Clemson and the Clemson and the Bama deal, and that's right, he did. Graham actually went with Julie to the game. Went to
good.
And Emma did. They went to the Georgia Alabama game, but drove after the Westview game. And Ty's got a house there, so they got there at 4:30 a.m. and they said it was crazy crowded, and with Trump and all the security and stuff, took them forever. Like an hour.
She was near Julie. Well, the family
right
was
behind
near
them,
former President Donald Trump.
Ty said when he was on the sideline in pregame that who was Kid Rock, John Daly, Hank Williams Jr. They're all standing right there, and and I think their NIL guy said, "You want to get a picture with them?" And Ty said, "I wanted to, but I felt like that wasn't the right thing to do during pregame."
In the moment,
good call.
Can't do it right there.
My radio guy would have in a second.
I would have done it.
Professionalism, so out
the window. I would have done it, absolutely. So we talk about, we have lip sync, step show, but one of my favorite traditions is rope pull. And last year we asked you about your dream team for rope pull.
We did.
Who would you have for like your football all time? Who would you have for your rope pull team?
Alex, see if you agree with this. Okay, Michael Jasper. Okay, who's the head coach at Bethel now. He played here back in '06. Jay Murphy, remember the nose tackle, real strong anchor guy. Those two first and foremost. Okay.
Davis Gregory.
No.
You're kind of like, you know how they tie a handkerchief in the middle?
I'm that guy.
You're kind of that guy. I would be worried about you. You know, it's kind of like you worry. We all worry about our kids playing football and the contact and different things. I would worry about you in the rope pull.
The rope pull.
I'd have you out there in a helmet, and a neck roll, pads on, and the little giants. You remember the little boy that had the snot bubble coming out of his nose? It's okay though, you're a good teammate.
That's
right.
Exactly. I would be the glue guy.
That's it. You're a glue guy.
Listen, I'll come out to practice day if it means that much to guys. I'll do conditioning with them.
Nah, we're good though.
But no, rope pull this week. We get step show. We get lip sync. I mean, I'm trying to see it. Quad City too. I think one of the cooler things about Quad City is the team walking through.
It is cool, isn't it?
That is one of my favorite traditions. That
mine
we have.
too. No, mine too. And I can't remember if it was done before that or not. Maybe so. I think Charlie Deal was probably him and Phil Dane were probably one of the instrumental in that. And that's great. Remember when we used to have the animal little zoo farm?
Oh yeah.
Remember we had that when the kids were little, and I remember Emma and Graham and Ty getting their face painted.
Yeah.
It was just a neat deal. In front of the band and the fight song and stuff. Over the years, I want to keep it like it used to be. I mean, like my pregame meal had to be right on time because you had to do it. But I hope we keep that. I don't want it to get watered down. I want it to be something we all believe in and kind of celebrate our community, celebrate UT Martin.
Yep, come out and be a part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. Coach, thanks so much for having us on. We'll let you get your Zaxby's meal.
I appreciate that. Good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a while, so good to see you.
I will see you Thursday. How about that? And Saturday.
Chuck, stay on stand by.
Thank you, Coach.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And that wraps up another episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Coach Simpson back. I knew he was going to be good for this episode. I knew it, Chris.
Yeah, he's on his A game.
He was on his A game. He was ready to go. I knew it that he had it ready to go for today. But all of our guests showed up, and what a show that we just had.
Yep. And great so much
show.
going on campus with sports and just beyond sports. Be a part of it. Go to utmsports.com, utm.edu.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. Make sure to come out homecoming this week and a lot of Skyhawk athletics events. Go to utmsports.com to follow everything. And for Chris Brinkley, myself, Davis Gregory, sign off from Zaxby's here today on this Monday in late September and say God bless.